What's your opinion on these current issues in America? BLM. BLM is a Trojan horse. It's a terrorist organization. They are not for black people at all. Sometimes it seems to me that some of us are not happy about the Biafra freedom. I always, my dear, you have to pay attention and listen first. Greetings to you. Nobody hates freedom, okay? Nobody hates freedom. There's a John. How are you, my brother? Thank you, everyone. Lucky, it's your man. Happy evening. I was greeting the other Lucky though. Johnny, K Solo, Ken Solo. Thanks. Yeah, we are here to learn from each other. Bless you too, Mobodo Solomon Chinoso. Judith, Nicholas, thank you. Mobodo, yeah, the one. See, guys, let's get into it. Please, guys, share with friends or family. Thank you, my brother. That's a very good idea. Even that guys on YouTube, please help me share with friends and family. And if you are joining us for the first time on YouTube, please remember to subscribe to the channel. Let's start. My people, again, I don't like sounding like a broken record, but the topic we are discussing is so delicate that we have to repeat ourselves every day when we come here. I am not one to tell somebody who they should pay their allegiance to, or the country they are supposed to pay their allegiance to, whether you are going to be Oduduwa, Republic, Nigeria, Biafra, whichever way. I wish you the best of luck. But what am I trying to do here? I want us to look at the facts on ground. You know, most of our people, when you talk about these issues, it's so emotional. It's so emotional. Yeah, guys on YouTube, thank you, Badio. It's such an emotional topic that most people, you know, when you are captured by your emotion, you hardly reason very well. That's why people make rash decisions when they are very angry or when they are very happy. When you are too happy, you can promise what you ordinarily wouldn't do. Do you know why guy men, when you come to their wedding, they'll start giving you drinks, give you food, give you drinks? They know that when you are drunk, when you are tipsy, when you eat, you will give more. Sometimes you will even have to go to the ATM to withdraw some money. That's the trick most people don't know. This is what emotion can do to people. Okay? But when you cut through the emotions and look at things as they should be looked at, you'll find out that actually there may be other ways to do things other than the way you are looking at it. And you may not actually be seeing what you're looking at. What you're looking at is different from what you should be seeing. For example, my dear, please, if you know who you are referring to, be specific. Okay? Be specific. If you know who you are referring to, be specific. Are you hearing me? We don't need noise here. If you're not willing to hear what I'm saying before starting to cause trouble in the comment section, please indicate now. Just leave. Leave, okay? No one forced you to be here. And I can't, because of people like you, stop reading the comments. Are you hearing me? Are you hearing me? If you can't stay here, just get the hell out of here. Here is not for children. Go to pages where people go to quarrel, not here. So my people, when you ask people something about countries that got their independence, they will tell you South Sudan, Eritrea, and start mentioning these things. But one thing they fail to understand is this: those people got their independence because the powers that ought not to be want to destroy the original country they came out from. Yes, this is the typical example of the Oduduwa plan. Weaken non-complying states, create a small client state from there, then weaken both sides. That way you control them. It did not start with Oduduwa. It started long before him. It started long before Oduduwa. And this is exactly what Israel is using to destroy all the strong nations around them, so nobody will rise up to challenge their powers. Countries where they cannot destroy, they lean on the Americans to make those countries client states, i.e. Egypt. They didn't want Libya around, a strong Libya. That's why I keep telling people, when you hear them talk about Libya being a failed state, no, Libya is not a failed state. Libya is a success story. It's a success story, as long as the people who destroyed it are concerned. Sudan, what's happening in Sudan is not making Sudan a failed state. Okay? It's not making Sudan a failed state. It made Sudan exactly what they wanted it to be. Go read the document, Project for a New American Century. Project for a New American Century. Look at the 7 countries they listed. They mapped out for destruction. Sorry, guys. Look at the countries they targeted. How many of them are still standing today? Look at Iraq. Look at Somalia. Look at Libya. Look at Yemen. Look at the war drums against Iran. Look at North Korea, Venezuela. What do all these countries have in common? They had a system these people couldn't control, and their leaders refused to play ball. Their leaders refuse to play ball. Look at what's happening to them now. I'm not saying you should continue to stay in Nigeria or you should opt out. I'm telling you what you should be doing. I'm telling you something that will help you. As we plan for the future, let's also look at the moment. Then, as you are living in the moment, think about the past. Look at the people who did what you are doing now and what you're trying to do. Look at them, how they ended. Know what you can learn from them. Know the mistakes they made. Learn from it. Wait, let me read this one. Muammar Gaddafi destroyed Libya when he gave the heroic welcome to the bomber of Scotland. Okay, please, have you even done an independent research on that Lockerbie bombing? Have you even done your research? Do you know how these people attack their own people? They kill their own people just to carry out their foreign policy. I used to think like you before. Please, do you know when Gaddafi died, I celebrated it? Yes, 2011, I wouldn't forget that year. I bought into that propaganda. Do you know that the Americans bombed and the British, they bombed his palace, his presidential home? Even if the Libyans did that thing, check that, compare that with what they did in Libya. They're not the last one that made them kill Gaddafi. Do you know about the bombing of his home? Do you know about that? How many people died there? Who spoke out for those people? My people, let us calm down. Chill. Every story you're hearing is one-sided. It's one-sided. Okay? Anybody that wants to disagree, don't worry. When I finish, I will post the link. You come on here. Let me finish with the monologue. I will post the link. I will bring you on camera here. No problem. All these countries they marked are countries they can't control. They couldn't control their leaders then. Now they started weakening them. These people know that IPOB people are in prison. These people know what Obasanjo did to Masob guys in 2006. These people know exactly what's happening in Nigeria, but they are keeping silent. You know why? Because they are still benefiting from your natural resources. They are still the ones in control of your resources. And as long as your presidents, your rulers are abiding by their rules, are doing what they want them to do, my brother, my sister, nobody will pay attention to you. The only time they will listen to you is when you have a president that doesn't want to do what they want. When you have a president that doesn't want to do what they want, what they will do is that they will arm you and send you to go and fight. They will arm you and send you to the battlefield to go fight. My dear, don't ask anybody to give respect, just indicate. Okay, this one, Augustine, wait, let me go here. Don't beg anybody. Our cement factory is open. We'll give you a lorry load of bricks. I'm coming. So as long as your president makes your country a client state, nothing will happen. They will not give you that thing. They will allow you make noise. Imagine if your president and your political class are going to play ball with them for 10 years. Do you want the suffering in your country to continue for 10 years? Let me tell you, nothing will fundamentally change in Nigeria as long as we still have leaders that are rulers, that are obedient to them. So asking for a new country out of Nigeria, they will never give it to you. They will not. The same people you are writing to, you are protesting to, are the same people who are controlling your leaders. That's why whatever they say at the UN, Whether it's going to benefit your people or not, they will adopt that policy. Look at how they lock you down. How many people you know caught the virus? Tell me how many people you know. Are you hearing me? These people that are writing nonsense comments, I'm a man of little patience. Mind how you write it, you may not be able to write another one. Respect yourself. I've told you I will bring you on camera here. I will bring you on camera here to debate me. Please let me finish. We don't need noise here. I'm not those people that will leave you to be writing nonsense just for them to have many people watching them and be commenting rubbish. No, we don't do that here. We debate you. We come here and debate. Oh, just one. Somebody said just one. Now, how many people committed suicide because of the anxiety that followed the lockdown? At the end of the day, what the letter used to treat those people and cure them are the things you have in your place. Should they have adopted that policy? Those people that died, do you realize they have families? The pain of one person, okay, let's say the death of one person caused pains to hundreds of people, because every person you see, especially in Nigeria, an average Nigerian is connected to 500 people at least. Wait. Okay. Now, why are they using the UN policy? Because they are controlling the people. Your own country. As long as these people are controlling your country, the only way they give you guns to go and fight is when your president refuses to play ball with them. That is the only time they will allow you to have a country of your own, and that then you have to fight. The people who refuse, do you know how much you are owing them for road development, for road construction? You think they don't know that your rulers are not using the money? No, they are giving them those funds specifically for them not to use it. That way, they will tell them that, okay, you are owing us, we are taking your resources. Now they are taking the resources. Tell me how they will rock the boat. Emmanuel Ezena said he knows at least 7 people that died of COVID-19. Where is the autopsy? Show us the autopsy results. Go and check the book Amazon just banned that exposed that nonsense. Any person with a temperature higher than 32 is being considered a COVID-19 patient, and if you die, COVID-19. But back to what we are saying, they will tell you that you're owing them. They will take so resources. Now go and check the interest in those loans. Go and check the interest on those loans. Why is it that you are not able to pay it off? The British people have not finished paying the money they borrowed to fight the Napoleon Wars, 1812. 1812. British people. But you believe that Britain controls your country. I will get the name of the book again. Tucker Carlson featured that guy. If you feature the guy, I will go and check the book and give it to you. Are you hearing me, my people? As long as those people are getting your resources, they will not pay attention to you. If they are listening to the United Nations and doing everything they tell them to the T, what makes you think that the United Nations is going to help you? Huh? They formed the United Nations specifically to stop wars. Now check how many wars that have been fought since the formation of the United Nations. Check all your leaders who were working against all those powers, the colonial powers. How were they toppled? Do you realize that most of them were toppled each time they go to the AU, to any AU meeting in Addis Ababa, or they go to the United Nations? By the time they will be there and they will be called and told not to come back. We are now taking over. Your own military guy, your military guys will take over. Now the West will not sanction them for truncating democracy, since they want to spread democracy all over the world. Check them, those people. Why is it that when a Pan-Africanist a set of people take power by force, they are being sanctioned? They will tell you that they are fighting for democracy. They want to remove these people and put their puppet in. And in most cases, they will still use their friends in the army, who they are blackmailing. They may seize their wealth and all that. They will use them to kill those people. They will kill those people, then put sanction after sanction. Meanwhile, their puppets, they will not sanction them. In Sudan, those of you that are saying that a student led to the downfall of the Sudanese president, no, they've been trying to remove Omar al-Bashir for years. Now the student protest was going to bring a real change. What did they do? They used some of his soldiers, his generals. They turned his generals on him. Now they arrested him, removed him from power, started removing some of the prisoners he has been holding. Now they paraded them in the street. That is a photo op. The military now have taken over. Those military guys, go check them. They were trained in the USA, just like Omar al-Bashir was trained until he turned on them. Okay? Now those students cannot protest again. Al-Bashir is gone, but they don't have their democracy. Just like what they have with the fake Arab Spring. It started with Tunisia. Did anything fundamentally change in Tunisia? No. It got out of hands in Egypt. The Muslim Brotherhood took power. They found out that these people are not ready to play ball with us. They corrected it by doing what? By telling Sisi to take over power, the Egyptian military. Guess what? Syria is still boiling. Libya is the way they want it to be. Are you understanding it now? Are you getting it? They will only use Biafra Oduduwa Republic activists. They will only use you when it is politically expedient for them, to them. When you will work for their interest. Guess what? That time, your interest then will be different from the interest of the people. They will still want you to give them the same thing they are getting from Nigeria or even more, because you will not be in a position to bargain with them. Boris Johnson is with them. Boris Johnson is the establishment. That's why they never wanted Rees-Mogg. Boris Johnson is a part of the club. He's a member of the club. Boris is a member of the club. The same place control Abuja. The same people, my guys. Are you understanding it? He's a member of the club. Go to the UK, they have their schools they attend. From Eton to to Oxford or any other top university is not, you go check them. There are never more than 5 top universities they attend. America and the UK, the same thing. Are you understanding it? The best play is to approach them, tell them you remove these idiots. They can remove them. Believe me, if they see that they cannot use division to control you and you are going to make the place ungovernable to them, not by protesting in Nigeria, I've told you severally. When you are calling for a republic, they will call you a separatist group. And when they term you a separatist group, they can easily manipulate things and you will hardly get allies. But when you focus on just one issue, tell them that is this political class, you tell their people, we don't even want to live in your own countries. See what's going on. It's being done in your names. The British people are not getting a dime from Nigeria, but the British corporations are doing it. The American people are not getting a dime. Even their factories are being shipped to China. The same people will mine your resources from Nigeria, from Angola, from Sierra Leone, from Guinea, from Chad, from Niger, from Ghana, from Gabon, Equatorial Guinea, South Africa, Lesotho, Malawi. They will mine your resources from Africa, move it to Asia, produce there at a cheap rate, now take the finished product back to their place. Except for gold and diamond, which they cut themselves, they take it to their own private listings. Go and check where they are trading most gold in the world. Look at Antwerp, gold and diamond, Antwerp, in Belgium. Check Amsterdam. Check Brussels, Geneva. These cities in all these major countries that you think are powerless. Belgium, Netherlands, Switzerland, Germany. Check the gold they are trading, the amount of gold they are trading there. Ask where they are mining them from. Do you know how many airfields you have in Nigeria that you don't in Africa? In the whole of Africa, I don't just want to focus on Nigeria. Do you know how many airfields you have where they are loading resources and living? They will load it on the planes. Didn't you people see the video where they showed gold? Finished gold. I think that was from Ghana, or what country was that? Didn't you see it? Living in a plane. It's not from the known airport. In the middle of the jungle, they build runways. It's everywhere in Congo. It's in southern part of Africa. All the countries around South Africa, Zambia and the rest of them. Sierra Leone. The airfields they used to bring those weapons those days are the same airfields they are using to airlift your mineral resources. Your presidents know these things. As long as they are keep looking the other way, they will be getting their shares. You don't just focus on oil. Sorry. Oh, it was in Congo. Okay, it happened in Ghana too. Wait, is anybody typing nonsense, please? Guys, as long as these people are getting these things, somebody is saying it's assumptions. Please, if you are getting your news from CNN, MSNBC, and the rest, stop talking when you come here. You end up looking stupid. I will post the link. You will come here, and I will show you the things I'm telling you. Don't just go to YouTube and watch. Go on YouTube and watch and be watching only music videos. I don't know what you people use your data for. Just to watch porn? Ask your fellow Africans if you're living in Europe or America. Ask your fellow Africans. Don't just wait for the media. Ask people. Those of you in Turkey, ask these Congolese. Since the last 6 months, so many Congolese have moved into Turkey. Please ask them. Don't just go there and be looking at their women. Don't go there and be looking at their women. They know how to. Ask them. They will tell you. Don't rely on the people doing this to give you news. They're on the news. People from South Sudan, when they were fighting their civil war with Sudan, they thought they were going to get freedom. Now, let me show you what's going on in Sudan, in South Sudan. I'm coming. I'm coming, guys. Wait, let me show you. This was March the 25th, 2017. This is PBS. Mind you, this is from a mainstream media. The civil war they are talking about here is not a civil war, not a war between Sudan and South Sudan. This is a war amongst the people of South Sudan. South Sudan versus South Sudan. That's what you're seeing here. See a refugee camp. See a refugee camp. Eh? Are you seeing it? The people who fought to separate themselves from Sudan are in this camp right now.
In Juba, the capital of South Sudan, this United Nations camp was supposed to be temporary. But after more than 3 years of a brutal civil war, people continue to flock here for safety. Today, more than 3 million people, almost a third of South Sudan's population, have been forced from their homes. Half of them have fled to neighboring countries like Uganda. The rest are internally displaced, like John Janub. He arrived here with his wife and daughter last year when fighting spread to their hometown called Yei in the southern part of the country in a region called Equatoria.
When we had the gunshot, people started running. People are running anyhow. Yeah. So me, I asked.
Are you hearing it, my people? This is not the al-Bashir soldiers shooting at them. The people who got them independence are now fighting amongst each other. Guess who is engineering that fight? The same people who engineered the original one. The two people, the Dimka and the Nok people, are now fighting each other. Why? Because the problem with them is not about having a new country, it's about solving the issue of corruption, maladministration. And when there is corruption, you have your own guns, I have my own, let's finish. Guess who we are not going to touch? The people who are sending us those guns. because they are the ones mining our resources. We are busy fighting. They are busy mining the resources, and when you are in short supply of weapons, they will send them to you, not food. Does it sound like what's happening in northern Nigeria, Boko Haram, with their Operation Timber Sycamore guns? They are displaying everywhere other weapons. Are you seeing it? John Janu or Janus, displaced person. John, not a Muslim name, not an Islamic name. You thought it was a war between the Christians and Muslims, right? Now the Christians, they're giving you your own country. The same thing is continuing. Those politicians who were leading them to war then were promising them paradise on earth when they will get their own country. Guess what? That they didn't see. Hunger, starvation. At the height of the war, people were eating grasses, just to survive. Are you seeing it? This is within their own country. They are now refugees within their own country.
Escape, I went to the riverside. We were very many in the river. Then the bullet is passing from up. Even some of the bullets were falling near us.
The civil war originated in a power struggle over the country's top.
Watch, my people. Do you see how hungry this person looks? But do you know how much this gun costs in the market? Look at the bullets. Look at the bullets. How much do these ammunition cost? Watch it. This is like 50 caliber. This is 50 caliber. Yes, this is 50 caliber. This is 50 caliber. Fire this constantly on an aeroplane, you will bring it down. Fire this on a rock. Fire it 200 meters from a rock. It will ricochet and bounce back. If you're unlucky, it will kill you immediately. Are you seeing it? Are you seeing it? Watch, watch, watch. They can give them these things, but not food. How much is a container load of food? And how much is a container load of ammunition? Look at them. Look at him. Look at the faces. Watch. Your military cannot buy weapons, but somehow these people, these poor people, can access these weapons. Who are the people supplying them this?
Post between South Sudan's first president, Salva Kiir, and his former first vice president, Riek Machar.
These two people, they were the two people they armed and used them to fight the Sudanese government. No, the Sudanese government is not a good government. I wouldn't want to live in Sudan. But there were other ways they could have resolved that issue. Had they taken those guns and showed them to al-Bashir and tell him that this is what we have, this is what they are giving us. Let us meet and talk. We don't need to do this. Of course, you know they will give it to us. This is why they want you out. Now, can we have access to our resources? Had al-Bashir done it, he wouldn't be where he is today. But, you know, fair-skinned Sudanese felt they are more important than the black ones. Now you see how easy it is for these people to destroy countries they don't want. They know where to touch. The same people who armed al-Bashir to take over Sudan and control these people and commit genocide, mass killings in this place, in in the southern region. Look at Kordofan, they're still fighting in Kordofan. So they're part of Sudan. Some people from South Sudan are running to war zones, to the region that is still fighting against the Sudanese government for safety. These are the people who've gotten their own independence. These two people, if you see the mansions they have in Kenya, in Nairobi, all the warlords that fought in that war, they all moved to Kenya, moved their families to Kenya. The other ones are in Europe and America. Most of them are in the USA. Then when they come to Africa, they don't go to South Sudan, they go to Kenya. People from Kenya, please back me up on this. The mansions they are building here, the only place you can see those beautiful mansions are in South Africa, Nigeria, Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, just major high-end areas. In Nigeria, it will be Asokoro and Banana Island. Are you seeing it? Watch these two people. Millions of their people are displaced, are in refugee camps within the same country they carved out, to show you that it was never to help the people, it has been for power and control.
As both men mobilized support along ethnic lines, the conflict pitted Kiir's...
Did you hear it? As both men mobilized support across ethnic lines. Are you seeing it? That is why only Pan-Africanism can save Africa. Please go and read things about Pan-Africanism. Pan-Africanism is not about being racist to people. No. It's about blackness, and that blackness has a very broad definition. You need to pay attention and study it step by step, carefully. Number one, you take the oath not to hurt a black person, knowingly, except in self-defense. That is the true repentance Africans should pursue. Let me rewind it. Sorry. Hear what the person said again. At long ethnic lines
between South Sudan's first president, Salva Kiir, and his former first vice president, Riek Machar. As both men mobilized support along ethnic lines, the conflict pitted Kiir's tribe, the Dinka, against Machar's, the Nuer, turning it into a broader struggle over land and resources, including oil. The
Nuer are the people you call the Nok tribe. When you look at these Nok people, Nok, you see how they look like some Yoruba people. Check the Ife bronze. Check the Benin bronze. It looks like Nok technology. It looks like Nok technology. This Noah is Nok. This is Dinka. One day maybe we'll have enough time. We Africans may know the importance of tracing back our roots within Africa first. Not saying that we came from somewhere, I don't know, somewhere that never existed before 1948, other than in the Bible or Torah or Quran, books that were written by the same people.
Turning it into a broader struggle over land and resources, including oil. The two leaders signed a peace deal in 2015, but it collapsed 9 months ago when fighting resumed in Juba. Machar fled and is now living in exile in South Africa. When President Kiir's government troops reached Yei, Janoub thought his family would be spared. Like most of his tribe, they had remained neutral. But to his horror, Janoub saw government troops set fire to his home.
All my family were taken inside. There are 7 people in the family. My mother, the father, the sister, and my brothers. And the wife of my brother was there. They closed the door. Then they started putting the fire. They started burning the house. Then the soldiers, some of them, they were deployed at the door. In case people are inside, someone will break the door, will come out, and they will shoot.
Janub says 7 members.
Did you see that? Did you hear that? Did you hear that? No one heard about that war crime anywhere. No one heard about that war crime. Why? Because both of them are now in the pockets of these people. They cannot give you a country they cannot control. And they will give you what and what you. Now, if Salva Kiir and Riek Machar, if both of them decides to send these people away, we don't want you anymore, you will start hearing about these crimes. Just like you start hearing about the crimes of Buhari, Obasanjo, and every other person. The moment they tell these people to go away. Most people, when they removed Sanusi, they are saying, hey, do you remember what he did? What he said when they killed that Igbo man, that Igbo lorry driver? Really? Really? When did you hear that thing? Please, those of you in Turkey, Sonny, ask Pascal. Tell Pascal that I said in 2011, I told them that when the Sultan of Sokoto died, sorry, the Emir of Kano dies, that Sanusi will be the next Emir of Kano. Uche laughed. I tell Pascal that I said this, he should ask Uche. Why? Because they for a long time, they've prepared him to take over the reins. Ask him. That was before the Emir of Kano died. Then when he died, they made Sanusi the Emir of Kano. None of you heard about that news as regards to that Igbo man that died. None of you heard about it then when he was made the Emir of Kano. Meanwhile, I told Uche, see, this guy is a radical. They will want someone like him. Guess what? To the surprise of everyone, he got there and started calling for change. He wanted to end the Almajiri system. Now they kicked him out. People who are supposed to ask why they kicked him out. Look at the changes he was trying to bring. Education, real education, not just Islamic studies, which is the only thing they give those people in the north. All of a sudden, you hear the news about that thing. People, hey, you know what he did? And he will be telling, the person will be telling you the thing as if he knew about it before you. I knew about it around 2003. Meanwhile, it happened in the late 90s, I think. When these men want to send these people away, you will start hearing about these war crimes. You start hearing about these war crimes. But now, no one is saying anything. Because the Israelis who are arming them are still taking their resources. So let's say the truth, that's where the gun is coming from. That's where those guns are coming from. Some of them, they ship them from Israel, literally. They have their arm factories in Eastern Europe. Some in Tel Aviv. Some around Israel. Some of them, they get it in military aid. Go and check how much Israel gets in military aid from the USA. Guess who the people that are facilitating those things are? And it's not even in the on the account of the Israelis. Now, those are the same people that control those corporations. I told you 3 groups: BlackRock, Bank of America, and what's the third one? Vanguard, the Vanguard Group. Check them. The presidential cycle of the Council on Foreign Relations. My people, international politics is dirtier than you think.
of his family and several neighbors died in the fire, and then the soldiers went after him.
When I started running, then he was following me. Then they started shooting me. This is the place where I was being shot. The bullet came from here, they shoot me from here, then the bullet came out from here.
His fellow South Sudanese, mind you, this is no longer the Sudan war. For those of you that are using South Sudan as an example of a country that got their independence, is this the type of independence you want? Because this is what they will give you. Look at Eritrea too.
Janub managed to escape with the help of friends. For 3 weeks, they walked through the wilderness until they reached this camp. And the people who killed your family, were they soldiers?
Yeah, they were soldiers.
They were wearing uniforms?
They were wearing the uniform, the government uniform.
Why would they do that?
They said the old people in here, these are the people, they are supporters of Dr. Riek Machar. So all of them...
You see? Supporters of Machar. The same person that helped go fight in their so-called war of independence. Are you seeing it?
To be killed, these Equatorian people.
Most of the government soldiers are Dinka, which has fueled perceptions of ethnic cleansing.
Most of the government soldiers are Dinka, just like in Nigeria, most of the government soldiers are exactly. And those people you are seeing go back to their place. The Dinka people are suffering too. They will just put some of them in leadership positions. You want to hear about the Amajiri system in a Sudan form, go to ask the Dinka people. Ask them. Go there. Look at their airport the way it is. Look at how their airport is looking. Go look it up.
The government of Kate is targeting the old community who are non-Dinkas. They are grabbing people's land. When you talk, they will kill you. They will destroy your home, the old family. This is what they are doing in the country.
When I caught up with a spokesman for the government troops known as the Sudan People's Liberation Army, or SPLA, he denied that abuses are happening in a systematic way.
Well, there have been a lot of allegations that the SPLA is attacking civilians, and that is...
Santo Dominic, are you seeing it? Forget the religion. In Nigeria, they are using Muslims in the north. In Sudan, it's same Christian, because the whole place is South Sudanese, mostly Christians. Are you seeing it, my people? Has the Pope said anything about it? How about the Archbishop of Canterbury? Why? Because they all run the same thing. Where do you think the goats they decorated the Vatican with came from? The illegal money laundered through the Vatican Bank, you think they are coming from where? The sales of what?
Ridiculous in the sense that how come that a national army like the SPLA attacks civilians who have no arms, who have nothing to do with rebellion? We are not angels. Within us, there are some, criminals. But this criminal does not, represent our image.
The same thing the Nigerian army will tell you. Does it sound the same? Yes, because they are copying and pasting. This could have been Buratai and he would still deliver the same news. This could have been Buratai, he will repeat the same thing. Go to Eritrea, it's the same thing.
As the SPLA. But there are very few elements that might have committed some crimes.
Despite the recent surge in violence, the government said,
this is a refugee camp. As far as the eye can see. As far as the eye can see. Refugee camp. Hygiene is zero. Women are selling their young daughters to some. You see all these UN vehicles you are seeing, they are still running human trafficking rings all around the world. And these people you are seeing, many kids will be taken away from here, no proper documentation. Some of them will never meet their family again, I'm telling you. go and do a thorough research on Jeffrey Epstein. The global human trafficking rings. When you are talking about organ harvesting, you are seeing a refugee camp. These people are seeing a farm where they go to take their the live animals. They will be using for their experiment, for many things. For the person that is saying is your assumptions, go and do a thorough research on Jeffrey Epstein. No, not the fake, the rubbish Netflix is showing you now. Go look, check the interviews with victims, with ex-workers who've worked for him. The Clinton Foundation. Ask people from Haiti. My people in America, ask Haitians. Especially those of you in Florida. Ask Haitians. They will tell you what is happening in these refugee camps. PBS is a public funded propaganda arm of the US government. The people who are benefiting from these things are the people that control the US government. Don't expect this woman to tell you the whole truth. Ask people from those places. You have them, they are your brothers and sisters. You are with them in Europe, in America. Please go close to them and ask them questions. Would you rather hear a story about what's happening in Biafra or Oduduwa Republic from a white person or someone from the place who lived through it? Go check how they told the Masop story in the media. Now ask anyone who was in Onitsha in 2006 what actually happened. Look at them, you see that they are two different events. One is true, one is not. You see why you should be using eyewitness accounts over the nonsense they give us in the media.
Says that it's committed to the peace deal and it has been urging people to leave this camp. But attacks on civilians have been a hallmark of this conflict, and with ethnic strife on the rise, there is simply no confidence that it's safe to go outside. The United Nations is warning the surge in violence and ethnic targeting of civilians could spiral into a genocide. David Shearer leads the UN peacekeeping mission here.
We certainly have seen communities who have had to either flee there from where they...
Why must a white man be leading the UN mission in South Sudan? Did a black man lead the UN mission in Kosovo? In Srebrenica? Huh? Why are they putting these people at the top of all these things? Who is paying this guy? Who funded his education? What government think tank did he work for? Brookings Institute? Or any of all these overfunded think tanks? Or Heritage Foundation? My people, tell me, why would they always put people like this in charge of it? Because they want to control the narrative and everything. You have troops, now place the troops in those conflict zones and watch the hotspots. Don't just send the troops after things have happened. You have your satellite, you are seeing the movement of their soldiers. When you are seeing the movement of the soldiers, how about you call the South Sudanese president and ask him what his troops are doing in so places? I can literally monitor it from my home right here. Right here. Send me the link and I will monitor it from here. And if I have an open line with the president, why don't I make the call and stop the killing and the looting and the destruction of lives and properties? Why? Is this not meddling? Huh?
Where they're living, houses burned, women raped, people killed in large numbers.
Earlier this month, the UN report of the Commission on Human Rights in South Sudan found most of the atrocities have been committed by government soldiers against civilians thought to be supporting rebel forces. Individuals have been targeted for killing, arbitrary arrest and detention.
Now, why are they not putting an international arrest warrant on him like they put on al-Bashir? Stop releasing these white papers. We don't need them. Why are they not arresting the president or the army chiefs that are doing these things? They will not. They are leaving it for the day you will tell them, get away from my country. I'm not giving you these resources again. They will invite you. They will arrest you and send you to the Hague. But as long as you are allowing them to take the resources, they don't care what you do to the people. That's why in Nigeria, everyone should be very careful, avoid violence, avoid bloodshed. These people have no legs to stand on. You meet them as a group, you write to them, don't call for the breakup because it's not going to happen unless they stop getting their things. But you can still make them to remove these ones in charge. I'm telling you. They would rather remove these ones and put someone that will work for the people with whatever you are given, of which we have more than enough. These ones don't know what they are doing. And their shortcomings are being covered up with violence. They don't allow you to speak, even though they are writing a letter to the US government over the killing of George Floyd. Imagine. How many of them wrote something about this thing that is going on in South Sudan? Tell me, how many of them? The double standard. The double standard is by design. It's by design because they are choosing winners and losers.
Sexual violence, sexual slavery, and forced marriage. Interviewees described seeing corpses.
Do you hear that? Sexual what? Let's go back.
And soldiers against civilians thought to be supporting rebel forces. Individuals have been targeted for killing, arbitrary arrest and detention, sexual violence, sexual slavery, and forced marriage. Interviewees described seeing corpses with their hands tied behind their backs and their mouths taped closed. The vast majority of mass rapes were committed by police or soldiers, and a staggering number of women had been forced to watch someone else being sexual.
The vast majority of mass rapes were committed by police or soldiers, and a staggering number of women had been forced to watch someone else being sexually violated. Black on black crime, black on black war crime that no one is talking about. Why? Because the people who are supposed to tell you those things are in support of it. Where is the African Union? Where is the African Union? Huh?
Fully violated. The UN's 12,000 peacekeepers are supposed to prevent it.
I'm coming, guys.
Such atrocities, but most of them protect the UN camps, and Shearer says government troops often block access elsewhere.
The government doesn't want us to go into particular areas because there are military operations going on, and that they believe
the government doesn't want us to go in particular areas because there's a military operation. Please, who is the South Sudanese president that he would tell the United Nations what and what not to do? Do you believe for a second that they are not there because the South Sudanese president does not want them to go there? These people have the power to arrest that man, send him to the International Criminal Court in The Hague. Do you believe for a second that they are not there because the government doesn't want them to be there. Okay, why did they give you troops? You see why a white man will always be there. David Shearer. Please, someone do a background check on him. This is an English name. Do the British look like people who want peace in South Sudan? You think the Queen is not getting money from this? Who is this David Shearer? I've been telling you people, you think I'm exaggerating. The United Nations is a terrorist organization. Just like the World Bank, just like the IMF, just like the Atlantic Council, just like the Council of Foreign Relations, just like the Chatham House, the Bilderberg Group. These are terrorist organizations masquerading as humanitarian bodies. Guys, this is a joke.
Believe that we will get into the way of their military objectives. It's not a systematic denial of us going into opposition areas so much. It's more of a it's more of us getting in the way and seeing what's happening on the ground with regard to military operations that are ongoing.
Flying 2 hours north of Juba to rebel-held areas, I passed over the town of Waushiluk, which government forces attacked in February. It looks like parts of the town were burned to the ground. I landed in the nearby town of Kodok on the west bank of...
What does it mean it looks like the towns were burned to the ground? It looks like all the towns were burned to the ground. Wait, let us go. Please.
Flying 2 hours north of Juba to rebel-held areas.
Look at these places. These black spots could be where the towns used to be. You are flying at a very low altitude and it's still looking like the towns were burned down. Not that they were. Are you seeing how they are carefully choosing their words? Are you seeing it?
Passed over the town of Waushiluk, which government forces attacked in February. It looks like parts of the town were burned to the ground. I landed in the nearby town of Kodok on the west bank of the Nile River. As the cultural and political capital of the Shilluk tribe, this used to be a vibrant town, but much of the population has fled. Government forces are stationed just on the other side of the River Nile, which is effectively the front line. Over the past weeks, there has been intense fighting just an hour south of here, and many fear that the town of Kodok could be hit next. The South Sudanese government blames the rebels for provoking the fighting in this region. Rebel Commander Major General Peter Otarla sees the situation differently.
It was the government army that came and attacked our positions, as well as the civilians at Waushiluk.
Otarla says rebel forces will continue fighting until opposition leader Riek Machar is allowed back into the country.
The international community has the ability to make peace either by force, through negotiations, or any other means.
They told you that the Muslims in the northern part of Sudan were killing the Christians. That Buratai that you heard from before, his name John Dominic, a Christian name. Look at this one, Major General Peter Otala. Peter. So they reported the other one when it was Muslim versus Christian. Now it's Christian versus Christian. Why are you seeing how they are using this fake religion nonsense to confuse people? People in the Darfur region are Muslims, yet they are still fighting against the Muslim government of Sudan. My people, are you getting the joke? Are you getting the joke now?
Peace either by force, through negotiations, or any other means. But if they just sit back like in July, when Dr. Riek Machar was pushed out, then we don't expect peace to come.
Tens of thousands of people fled the most recent fighting in Waushiluk by walking for days to escape the
Walking for days to escape. Just watch people, watch children, watch young women. The other side could still be raping them also. And Black Lives Matter? Really? Really? You think the Chinese are not seeing all these things and that's why they are treating your people that way? Look at this child. Look at this child. Look at the mother. This is a young girl. This is a very young girl. Just like this one. I have to carry this water and walk for days. If not, this child will not drink water. Do you think they have enough food to take care of themselves in the journey?
front lines. They carried whatever they could grab when their villages came under attack. Most have taken refuge in this forest. This woman collapsed. Her mother said she hadn't eaten for 3 days.
Oh.
Everyone here is visibly exhausted, having slept for weeks out in the open. Alisa Padau is also coping with the loss of her youngest son, killed when the government shelled Waushiluk last month. He was only 12 years old. She also has 2 teenage sons who are missing.
When the shelling hit, the hot soil fell on me and burned me here on my chest. Then immediately our house started burning.
Since leaving Waushiluk, Padau and her family have survived mostly by eating leaves.
Eating leaves like goats. Eating leaves like goats. If it's not painful enough already, let's watch it again.
Leaving Waushiluk, Padau and her family have survived mostly by eating leaves. They left all their harvest behind when they fled for their lives.
We came with empty hands. We left all our things there. When we go to sleep, we just pray to God that He will assist. When the day comes, we look for the leaves and the fruits from the trees.
The UN says 100,000 people are at immediate risk of starving to death due to a man-made famine, the civil war having prevented farmers from planting and harvesting for 3 years. Aid from the UN's World Food Programme has started trickling in, but the UN says the government has prevented its delivery to civilians in rebel-controlled areas.
How can the government of South Sudan prevent the United Nations from delivering food when you have US military bases around there? Why not fire them? Huh? Is it only in Libya that you deploy your forces? Oh, because the man in Juba is your client, a client president. Who are these people fooling? Who do they think they are kidding by telling us that they did not allow the UN plane to deliver food? Oh, man.
While they wait for aid, Padau and her fellow villagers find ways to keep going. During the attack, her neighbor Yusuf ran and grabbed one thing he thought necessary to survive.
I'm making this fishing net, so when the rainy season comes, I can fish here. That way I can get something to eat for myself and even these children here.
But it will be weeks until the rains come. In an attempt to feed themselves, the displaced try to sell their other belongings. Even that would earn them enough to buy only a few days' worth of food. The UN is now warning that 5.5 million people, half the population of South Sudan, are at risk of severe food insecurity this year.
That's it, my people. Now let me show you when how long they've planned this thing. They told you that this last civil war started in 2004 is a lie. Let me show you something. This is a US Army general. He was the supreme allied commander of NATO in Yugoslavia. He later ran for president in the Democratic Party. I laughed in 2004, where he thought that the Democratic Party was an anti-war party, not knowing that had Al Gore gotten in, it would still be them thing as George Bush. Same program. Guess what? Obama came and continued it. Now watch how many countries they listed. Watch it here. General Clark reveals U.S. plan to invade Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and Iran. How many countries mentioned here are still left? Now you know why they targeted Sudan. You see why they let these people go. You thought they gave you independence. No, they gave you another, and they took you from one slave plantation and put you in another. Check how many countries they named here. How many are still peaceful? How many are still intact here? Are you seeing it? Are you seeing it? They invade you sometimes through infiltration or using a fifth column, because they know in every country you put your hand on the map, you will see people who've been mistreated for centuries. Yes. And if the man at the center is not with, let me tell you people, Igbo presidency is not threatening the unity of Nigeria. Let me tell you one bit. It's threatening the Westerners, because if you give you make an Igbo man president today, and not someone they will see, instead of Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, let that power remain in the north. At least we will be awake to what's going on. We will monitor everything. But when they put Okonjo-Iweala or any of their puppets in from the southeast, the person will still be carrying out the same policies. I'm telling you, ask the Southerners. How many years after their brother left, after spending 6 years in the office, how is their region? Goodluck Jonathan, did he construct any road in his place until they wanted to bury his father? Then they started doing nonsense, but he ran and built a helipad where he will land. Did he try to develop the coastline? Did his people use water so much? Why didn't he build something there for them? A shallow seaport, that will have brought commerce to that place. Huh? The second Niger bridge, that would have helped South and Southeast, open it more for business and make business easier. But now if they make an Igbo man president and that Igbo man tells them to go, just tell me who they will arm. The next thing they will do, they will use one Hausa for Fulani or any other ethnic group, an idiot, who they are blackmailing, because they know every account. These your generals. Nigerian generals are one of the richest generals in the world, not Africa, in the world. The only generals you can compare them with are Pakistani generals. Believe me, they know where those people are hiding their funds. They can threaten to withhold those in or till they topple the leader. If they don't topple him, they will kill him. And when such a thing happens, now you people will arm yourselves and start fighting. It's the Oduduwa plan. Weaken people from within. Watch him, listen to him now.
About 10 days after 9/11, I went through the Pentagon.
So, sorry, he said about 10 days after 9/11, he went through the Pentagon. And this thing, mind you, they wrote that PNAC in 99. And it is it was copied from an older document. An older document. Just see when they plant all these things, the noise you are hearing in the Middle East today and Africa. 10 days after 9/11, that is September 21, 2001. Is it? Yes. Yes.
About 10 days after 9/11, I went through the Pentagon and I saw Secretary Rumsfeld and
Deputy Secretary Wolfowitz, I went downstairs just to say hello to some of the people on the Joint Staff who used to work for me. And one of the generals called me and he said, "Sir, you got to come in. You got to come in and talk to me a second." I said, "Well, you're too busy." He said, No. He says, "We've made the decision. We're going to war with Iraq." This was on or about the 20th of September.
And Iraq had nothing to do with 9/11. They told you that they went to Afghanistan to look for Bin Laden. Bin Laden was in Pakistan. He only went to Afghanistan to help coordinate the Mujahideen, who later became the Taliban, and Al-Qaeda, who, by the way, were armed and funded by the USA and the British, even the French. NATO created those people. The man who ran the operation was Brzezinski, Brezhnev Brzezinski, the father of Mika Brzezinski, the co-host of the MSNBC morning program, Morning Joe. I call it Morning Joke. Mika Brzezinski, the father, armed them. Bin Laden was never a fighter. He is just the money man. The Bin Laden family and the Bush family have been doing business for years. The Bin Laden group and the Bush family. And the person in charge of security on those Twin Towers, the company that was in charge of the security at the Twin Towers, that when that thing happened, was owned, the company was owned by Marvin Bush. So you see how these things they planned. This is not a conspiracy theory. The families who are suing the Saudi government don't even know that they are going to expose people in their government, including the Bush family, who, by the way, have been profiting for wars. Remember, the grandfather of George Bush, Sheldon Prescott Bush, was the private banker of the Nazi Party, of Hitler's private banker in the US, 39 Broadway, New York. Go and check it. Look it up. Union Bank of New York. This is a joke. Hear the countries again. Hear from him. I will not stop it again.
About 10 days after 9/11, I went through the Pentagon and I saw Secretary Rumsfeld and Deputy Secretary Wolfowitz. I went downstairs just to say hello to some of the people on the Joint Staff who used to work for me. And one of the generals called me and he said, "Sir, you got to come in. You got to come in and talk to me a second." I said, "Well, you're too busy." He said, No. He says, "We've made the decision. We're going to war with Iraq." This was on or about the 20th of September. I said, "We're going to war with Iraq? Why?" He said, "I don't know." He said, "I guess they don't know what else to do." So I said, "Well, did they find some information connecting Saddam to Al-Qaeda?" He said, No. He says, "There's nothing new that way. They just made the decision to go to war with Iraq." He said, "I guess it's like we don't know what to do about terrorists, but we've got a good military and we can take down governments." And he said, "I guess if the only tool you have is a hammer, every problem has to look like a nail." So I came back to see him a few weeks later, and by that time we were bombing in Afghanistan. I said, "Are we still going to war with Iraq?" And he said, "Oh, it's worse than that." He said, he reached over on his desk, he picked up a piece of paper, and he said, I just got this down from upstairs, meaning the Secretary of Defense office today. And he said, "This is a memo that describes how we're going to take out 7 countries in 5 years, starting with Iraq and then Syria, Lebanon, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and finishing up."
Did you hear Sudan and finishing up with Iran? Sudan, that is what happened in Sudan, not independence. Liars. Check Somalia again. They told you they were fighting Somalia pirates. They were fighting fishermen who are trying to who are forcing them to take their ships away from their coast so they can be able to fish. These people are scraping the bottom of the ocean. The fishing communities are now desolated. They are now desolate. They've been devastated. They've destroyed those communities. Now, what other options do you have left other than fighting back? Now they brought in their military and told you they are terrorists, and the foolish idiots are still there raising their Islamic flags. Shut up. They are using that thing to paint you evil, in a bad light, to have an excuse to send their troops to kill you. This is why you need to end Islam and Christianity. I am telling you, these are weapons that are destroying Africa. They know how to touch these things. They know the buttons to touch. Here are the countries again.
The Secretary of Defense's office today, and he said, this is a memo that describes how we're going to take out 7 countries in 5 years, starting with Iraq and then Syria, Lebanon, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and finishing off Iran. The truth is about the Middle East is, had there been no oil there, it would be like Africa.
He doesn't even know it. He only served in Europe. He doesn't know Africa. He said, had there been no oil there, it would be like Africa. Who told you? No, because no one is telling the truth about Africa. And this is the truth. We need to go tell their people in the streets of Europe and America. If their people know this, believe me, they will pour out in the street. Even the people you are calling white nationalists will join you, because their children are the ones that are being sent, the rednecks. Their children are the ones being sent to go die in the Middle East and Africa. Now they've added Niger to the list. North Korea, Venezuela, Cuba has always been there. Have you seen how they weakened these countries from within? He doesn't know. He said it will be like Africa. Someone tell him the mineral resources we have just only in Nigeria, Congo, Ghana, Cameroon, Central African Republic only. I don't want to go further.
Nobody is threatening to intervene in Africa.
Nobody is threatening to intervene in Africa because they own the African rulers. They control the resources. Why would they intervene? They are intervening in the countries they are not controlling. Okay? They intervened in Libya because they were not controlling Libya. They intervened in Somalia and put just to prop up their puppets there. Sudan, uncle, they broke it in two. You have South Sudan. Now, he doesn't even a general like this doesn't even know it. That is how oblivious their people are of what's going on in Africa. They don't know. A general, this is the NATO Supreme Allied Commander. He doesn't know this, but you and I know it. Are you getting it? Hear the ignorance coming from an army general. Now imagine how it is to the general populace. Let's go back. Hold on, I'm coming. Hear him again.
The truth is about the Middle East is, had there been no oil there, it would be like Africa. Nobody is threatening to intervene in Africa. The problem is the opposite. We keep asking for people to intervene and stop it. And there's no question that the presence of petroleum throughout the region has sparked great power involvement. Whether that was the specific motivation for the coup or not, I can't tell you, but there's always been this attitude that somehow we could intervene and use force in the region. And he said,
are you seeing it? My guys, now listen to what happened to that place. That project, the Oduduwa. See how it works. See how it works here.
Oduduwa is the Israeli scholar who put forth the paper, A Strategy
I'm coming,
for
guys.
Israel in the 1980s. And in that paper, Oduduwa is the Israeli scholar who put forth the paper, A Strategy for Israel in the 1980s. And in that paper, it's a plan that's outlined to basically divide up the Arab world and Iran too, I believe, into smaller states with the idea that smaller states are weaker states and therefore easier to dominate and control. The goal is divide and conquer. If people are pitted against each other and fighting each other, then they are basically, their attention is diverted, and it's easier for the empire power to take the resources.
Do you hear it? When you are divided, this is divide and conquer. It's easy for the empire to take the resources. Now, who are the empire? Who are the empires? The same people who ran slavery, the same people who control the Roman Empire, the same people who control the Greek Empire. This, my guys, this is an old system. Don't fall for it. It's a banana peel. When you step on it, forget it, you will lose every control. Let's watch it again. Listen to them again.
Smaller states with the idea that smaller states are weaker states. Oded Yanon is the Israeli scholar who put forth the paper, A Strategy for Israel in the 1980s. And in that paper, it's a plan that's outlined to basically divide up the Arab world and Iran too, I believe, into smaller states with the idea that smaller states are weaker states and therefore easier to dominate and control. The goal is divide and conquer. If people are pitted against each other and fighting each other, then they are basically, their attention is diverted.
Are you seeing how they are pitting Iraqis against each other? Babylon, Kurdistan, and Shia. Now this Kurdistan is a semi-autonomous region in Iraq. Now the Babylonians are the people that I think they are most the Sunnis. Now look at the Shias, and they are the majority. These are the rulers. Are you seeing how they already divided Iraq? And after Iraq, are you seeing here in Syria? They are in Syria already. Back to what that man told you. The rebels that are fighting Bashar al-Assad, most of them are not Syrians. They are foreign fighters brought in from the North Caucasus. Brought in from their jihadist enclaves around the world, Eastern Europe, the Middle East, even from Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabians were sending criminals, condemned criminals, to go fight in Syria. Now, if you are a condemned criminal, of course they are going to behead you in Saudi Arabia. Which one would you choose? Getting your document to go fight in Syria, go get paid there. Never to return to Saudi Arabia. My people, go ask questions. This is not assumptions for the person that was saying that I'm peddling on assumptions. This is the system. Watch it here. Learn to connect the dots. Everything is in the open. You just need to learn how to connect the dots.
People are pitted against each other and fighting each other, then they are basically, their attention is diverted, and it's easier for the empire power to take the resources and subjugate the people, and then you have colonialism.
Oded Yanon put forth such ideas that Israel should use its military power to destabilize and fragment Israel's enemies. This was put forth, as I said, in 1982 during the Begin administration, when, of course, Begin.
Menachem Begin. Check his ancestry back to the Khazarian Khaganate. Back to the Khaganate, the Khazarian, the Ashkenazis. These are the people they brought in from Eastern Europe. Even the Nazis funded most of them, you are seeing. Gave them gold just to move into the Middle East. This is Menachem Begin. Zionism is a terrorist, is a very, very, very What word am I going to use to qualify it? Terrorist, the word terrorism has been abused so much. Zionism is the most evil political movement in the world. Please go check the protocols of the learned elders of Zion, if you can still find the videos on YouTube, if they've not deleted them. Protocols of the learned elders of Zion. Zionism is a political movement. It has nothing to do with Judaism. They are just using Judaism as a cover. Just like what the Saudis are doing. Islam is just a cover. They are criminals. Look at what they are doing to the Yemenis. Yemen is ordinarily 100% Muslim country. Look at what Saudi Arabia is doing to them because they refuse to play ball with the Americans by the way of submitting their country to the Saudis. Now they had to destroy them. Look at what they did in Yemen. And now Iran is backing those people up so they don't lose their country. That's why you heard all this nonsense about war with Iran. It's deeper. They tell you terrorism. When was the last time you saw a terrorist attack that was carried out by an Iranian in the West? But Saudi-backed terrorists are destroying all these fake terrorist attacks. They're using to kill people, using their minions to foment troubles, kill innocent people.
Did invade Lebanon, and perhaps that was, though it failed, some historians have contended there was a broader plan intended there to affect.
Guys, I'm coming. Let me address one issue. The cause of right again.
More of the Middle East to advance Israeli security. I might say that the late Israel Shahak translated the known study and into English, and the name of the translation was the Zionist Plan for the Middle East. Now, after 1996, after 1990 and for the Middle East.
This is Israel Shah, that is Israeli plan for the Middle East. This is the Israel of Theodor Herzl, 1904. 1904, 44 years before the state of Israel was created. 44 years before the state of Israel was created by the way of the Balfour Declaration. When the British ceded some areas of Palestine to the Rothschild family, go check the Balfour Declaration. 1904. These things they've planned them a long time ago.
Please. Now, after 1996, the neoconservatives started to emphasize that the threat wasn't simply to Israel, but it was a threat to the United States, that there was a terrorist threat from the Islamic and Arab countries and groups in the Middle East, that the United States had to do something about it. The fundamental threat they emphasized came from Saddam Hussein in Iraq. Just wanted to point out that in both Yenon and Study and A Clean Break, there was an emphasis on attacking Iraq first, that Iraq was a key, let's say, a geostrategic location for Israel to destabilize.
They went to Iraq to look for weapons of mass destruction. Did they find any? No. And now they want to pretend, oh, it's a mistake. No, it's a war crime. George Bush, Dick Cheney, Tony Blair, Madeleine Albright, these people should be in jail. All of them should. If the International Criminal Court is a joke, it's a fraudulent body. It's just there to threaten African rulers. If you don't want to play ball, if Buhari don't want to play ball, then you will hear about, you will start seeing photos and videos of those IPOB bodies they dumped in the water. Had Obasanjo not played ball, he would have answered for what he did to Mazo people in Onitsha in 2006. Then Zaki Biamandodi. Yes.
All of its enemies in the Middle East.
So in this paper, there's basically, it was a right-wing proposal, but nevertheless, you see it coming to pass today with the proposal to divide Iraq into three parts, which is not what Iraqis want. The majority of Iraqis want the occupation to end. They want the restoration of Iraq.
Eastern Libya was where the Libyan revolution began. The first protests on February 17th occurred here. The NTC was formed here, and it was the mission to protect Eastern Libyan civilians from Gaddafi's forces that gave the UN and NATO their justification for military intervention.
But that military intervention cannot work in South Sudan, right? I hear.
Happens to be where the majority of Libya's oil production takes place. Libya was divided into 3 provinces in the post-independence era, with the eastern province, known as Cyrenaica, hosting the country's economic capital in Benghazi. There remains a lot of nostalgia in the east that makes a return to that early system seem appealing. Certainly there are enough resources in eastern Libya for it to exist as a viable autonomous province.
عجز العالم، عجزت تركيا، عجز المسلمون، عجز العرب عن تحقيق منطقة عازلة لإيواء السوريين، فتم بحمد الله على يد المجاهدين من أبناء المنطقة كتائب لواء جعفر الطيار.
My people, I can hear that, and those on Facebook, this is my YouTube channel. Please go subscribe to my YouTube channel, Ijele Speaks. This is my YouTube channel. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't done that. And those on YouTube, thank you for joining me on YouTube. Thumb the video up. It helps me with the algorithm. And help me share with your friends and family. If you are joining us for the first time there, please ring the bell so you get notified every time we come live. My people, are you seeing it? Have you seen it? They will not give you freedom. These people, they will never try such. If they give you, they will have to give other people. So let us live in the moment by doing what? Start fighting for 2023 now. Start building coalitions. Start building alliances. Reach out to Northerners. Ask them what these people have done for them. Malnutrition is highest in northern Nigeria. Lack of education, illiteracy is high. Tell them that their ruler, show them the videos of the children of their politicians running out amok in the streets of Abuja with their fancy cars. Tell them how much a Lamborghini is sold, convert it to Naira, and tell them. Show them those things. Let them know that the children of the people that are giving them Sharia law are not even abiding by the so-called Sharia principles. Let them know what's going on. Let them know what's going on. Let them know what's happening. Start planning for then, whether you like it or not, there will be an election in Nigeria in 2023. You want it free and fair? Now is the time to tell those people in London, in Washington, in New York. Make them understand that it is not going to be funny, and start building your allies right now. And everything must be done in truth and honesty. Okay? Please, do we have people with counter views? This is the link. I don't need any other person. Please, I need people with counter views. You bring your question, you come here, you ask it. Use the link, join in. Please, here is the link. Here is the link. Please, you have 5 minutes to do that. Are you my people? We can dominate Africa with just us. No, you cannot dominate Africa with just you. You need to have puppets in charge. Guys, this is the link. I need those people. Are you people there? Hello? I'm knocking. Hey, I think I've stained this screen. My hand is oily. I stained the camera. Any debater in the house? Do we have a testifier in the house? Okay, now if you have your contribution to make, now will be time to make the contribution. You follow the link and I'll be reading questions here. Ijele, well done. Please keep this, or please designate a constant time for this program every day so that, you know, my dear, it's not my business. Yes, because we are ruled by weak people. We are disarmed. Yes. Now let Portugal try Rwanda. Let Portugal try Rwanda. Let me see. You only dominate us with nuclear weapons because you have your nuclear weapons and you people gave us Holy Ghost fire. So I don't blame you. I don't blame you. Oluwagbe Miga Raufu. Someone is trying to join. You didn't connect your device. Device is not connected. Device is not connected. Please reconnect. What is the topic? Tap the screen. You will see the topic. It will appear. We are closing. My people, in the absence of any question and this, please, I will let the people on YouTube go now. Guys, thank you. We've come to the end of the program. Thanks for joining me on YouTube. Please share it on Facebook and Instagram. Sorry, you can't share it on Instagram. On Facebook and Twitter. We need more people on YouTube. And tomorrow we'll do a YouTube special. A program we'll do only on YouTube, not Facebook. You know, we do our own Facebook special every time. Tomorrow, it will be YouTube special. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Ijele Speaks.